abandoned churches, haunted halls, shadows that move when no one's there. These are the places where faith meets fear, and tonight we're walking straight into them. A video spreading fast online shows a crowded church gathering, but one thing stands out. In the middle of the people, a strange figure with dark eyes and a bald head stares directly into the camera. Surprisingly, no one around seemed to notice. Only the camera caught it. Some churchgoers believe it could be the spirit of a young woman who passed away too soon. But I'll leave the truth for you to decide. Creepy abandoned church. A YouTube from the UK decided to film inside an abandoned church swallowed by weeds and broken stone. At first it was silent, until faint tapping echoed through the empty aisles. He laughed it off as pigeons.
That scared me. But there's quite a lot of pigeons in here.
But then a low, mournful cry drifted from the pews. Turning his camera, he caught a gray figure sitting perfectly still. His reaction was pure, unscripted fear. Was it staged, or did he capture something we're not meant to see?
Hello?
Pastor encounter.
Well, hey everybody, Pastor Aaron here. It's my pleasure just to announce that this Sunday will be...
The pastor uploaded his video saying that the video took him several attempts to record. Whenever he tried to invite the people to a church event, the wooden podium behind him toppled without anyone touching it.
Will be open.
He said it had fallen before, so he kept recording to prove there was no wind or trick. Moments later, the flag beside the stand began to sway by itself. Though the air felt still, the pastor held the phone steady while his voice trembled, showing viewers the empty room and the moving objects. Guiding figure.
Hey, ay, viste a la madre, güey.
Late at night, a man explored an empty hospital with his camera, thinking he'd only captured dust and broken walls. But in the distance, something unusual appeared, a shadow at the end of the hallway. There for a second, then gone. As he moved further, the same figure showed again, this time at a doorway, almost like it was leading him somewhere. Step by step, it drew him closer to the old mortuary, raising more questions than answers. Horned figures.
Fuck their problem is. They keep doing it.
The night was still when a man noticed two figures standing near a church wall. Their shapes were tall, their horns outlined clearly in the dim light. For a moment, he couldn't move, just staring at the eerie sight. Then headlights cut across the road, a car passing by, and in that instant, the figures were gone. The clip ends there, leaving viewers to guess if he witnessed something supernatural, or just shadows playing tricks in the dark. Spooky crawling figure. Some places are better left alone, and a man found that out the hard way. Curious, he explored an old, abandoned building, not expecting anything unusual. That's when he spotted it. A pale, strange creature crawling across the floor. For a moment, it paused, watching him carefully. Then suddenly, it started moving toward him. Luckily, he reacted fast and got out just in time. Dark figure. Nothing looked unusual in the old place, but the shadows upstairs told a different story. At one doorway, a figure stood still, its long hair hiding most of its face. As he stepped closer, the details came into view. The skin looked dark, with a faint red glow that didn't seem right. He was scared badly, but before he could react, the figure shot backward and vanished. He searched every corner, but the rooms were empty, leaving only questions behind.
Allahu Akbar!
Farmhouse horror. Late one night, a man noticed movement in the old abandoned house nearby. In the top floor window, a strange figure appeared, shifting in a way that didn't seem natural. He kept watching, trying to make sense of it. But before he could, the figure disappeared. The house went quiet again, leaving him with more questions than answers about what he had just seen. Creepy crawler. With a camera rolling, this guy stepped into an abandoned room. Then, in the corner, a shadowy figure crawled across the floor, its movement slow and unnatural. Long hair hid its face, making the scene even harder to process. Suddenly, it darted forward, rushing straight at him before the screen shook. That brief encounter turned his ordinary exploration into one of the creepiest moments ever recorded in a forgotten building. Cemetery horror. The corridor looked empty until a small figure appeared, walking quietly across it. He followed her down the hallway, which led toward the edge of the cemetery. Just as he reached the end, she vanished completely, leaving only empty space behind. The hallway was silent, shadows stretched across the walls, and the cemetery gate stood at the far end. Nothing moved, yet the figure he followed was gone. The way it vanished made one thing clear: he hadn't seen anything human. Creepy encounter. With only a flashlight to guide him, he stepped into the dark, empty structure. The floor was covered in dust, and the walls had cracks everywhere. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed a dark shape standing in a corner. He moved closer, trying to see it clearly. The figure didn't move at all, just stayed in place. The room was quiet, with broken windows and scattered debris around. Then, suddenly, the shape was gone. The corner looked normal again, as if nothing had been there. Whatever it was, it vanished as quickly as it appeared. Unseen presence. Feeling the eerie energy in his home, a man began to pray quietly. Suddenly, a table nearby moved on its own, and objects fell off the shelf. Moments later, the room's door closed by itself, as if something inside wanted to leave. Remaining composed, he slowly stepped out of the room. The strange events left him with a clear feeling. It was time to get out and not linger any longer in that space. Glowing figure. One camera picked up something unusual near the altar. A glowing figure appeared, bright and clear, almost like it was standing there on its own. The way it shone in the empty room felt unreal, as if it wasn't of the real world. It was the spirit of what looked like an angel. Ghost detector. A man walked into an abandoned church with his camera, curious to see if the stories about it were true. He set a ghost detector right by the old doorway and called out, asking any spirit to prove itself by coming closer.
If anybody's in here, prove to me that you're in here. Go touch that REM pod or go stand on top of it by the door.
For a few moments, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, the detector lit up. His expression changed instantly, realizing something unseen was right there, proving its existence.
No freaking way, bro! Are you kidding me? Oh my god! It said, look, we're here.
Abandoned church. In the Czech Republic stands an abandoned church that has gained worldwide attention for its eerie atmosphere. Inside, rows of ghostly white sculptures sit silently on the decaying wooden pews, each one cloaked like a figure frozen in time. The sculptures were created as part of an art project, yet visitors often describe them as unsettling. Some even claim to have seen them moving, and these claims make them even more creepy for the visitors. Creepy face. He wandered through the house quietly, only to spot a ceiling door that seemed out of place. Carefully, he propped it open with a stick, and suddenly, a face appeared, peeking down at him. It was unsettling, unlike anything he had ever seen, and the feeling of unease washed over him instantly. Whoever or whatever it was didn't seem human. Fear took over, and he ran as fast as he could, not daring to look back. That night, he knew the house held secrets far beyond explanation, and he never returned. Ghost catcher.
we're going on.
Really cold.
Ghost hunters exploring an old, abandoned house set up a camera by the stairs, keeping in touch with their team through a video call. One girl waited beside the camera, her eyes scanning the room. After a while, she spotted something strange, a dark hand slowly emerging from the stairs, moving closer. She quickly recorded it, but by the time she looked again, it had vanished. The area was empty and silent, making the moment even more unsettling for everyone watching.
Go now.
Abandoned house mystery. A man was strolling through his garden when he saw something strange in his bedroom window. A dark, silent figure stood there, hands raised, almost like it wanted to make contact. He froze in fear, trying to understand what he was looking at. Suddenly, it disappeared without a trace. He took a deep breath, thinking it might have been his imagination, but moments later, it appeared again at a different window, still and silent, leaving him unsure of what was real and what wasn't. Strange figure. Walking through the old hallway, the explorer kept his torch pointed straight ahead, when suddenly it felt like someone was right behind him. When he turned around, he was shocked to see a strange figure standing there. He swore it looked like a jinn, and out of fear, he started praying under his breath. Just seconds later, he looked again, and the figure was gone. No sound, no movement, nothing. The way it disappeared so fast didn't add up, and that's what makes the clip so unsettling. Was it really there, or was something else at play? Either way, the moment leaves you with chills, and no real answer. Scary encounter. A man exploring a deserted building thought he was just filming empty rooms, until his camera picked up more than he expected. First, a face peeked from a doorway, then slipped out of sight before he could react. Moments later, another figure appeared low against the wall, almost blending with the dark floor. And just when he thought it was done, a third figure in red showed up briefly, then disappeared again. 3 quick moments, each one caught on camera. Haunted church.
Ain't shit up there.
People in Illinois often talk about strange shadows appearing at midnight at St. Paul's Baptist Church, and one late night, a passerby saw it for himself. As he walked by, his eyes caught movement on the ground. There wasn't anything on the roof, nor was there anything on the ground. The whole shadow was just levitating in midair, with no source causing it. Though he did not find answers as to who it was, he was satisfied enough to have witnessed it with his own eyes. Dark wedding. At a wedding, cameras caught a boy stepping into the aisle. He moved stiffly, making the sign of the cross before looking straight at the lens. His eyes appeared darker than normal, his smile unsettling. Viewers later claimed he looked possessed, and the short clip left many questioning how something so eerie could appear in the middle of a celebration. 2 girls. One police officer, who was investigating an old building for his ongoing case, recorded something he had never expected. 2 young girls appeared, standing perfectly still, their eyes fixed forward. In just a blink, they were gone, leaving nothing behind. And this single encounter made it clear this house wasn't as empty as it looked, holding secrets hidden within its quiet walls. Haunted piano. The camera shook as 2 friends froze inside an abandoned church because right in front of them, a piano was playing by itself. When they turned the camera toward it, the footage revealed a dark figure sat at the piano, its shadowy outline just visible. Within seconds, the friends ran off the building, too scared to look back. Was it the ghost of a priest tied to the church, or something far more sinister? That night gave them footage they could never explain. Shaking door. While exploring an old, empty house, a man noticed a door rattling slightly, as if someone might be behind it. His camera kept rolling as he paused, unsure if it was just the wind or maybe someone hiding. He finally pulled the door open, only to find an empty, quiet room. Nothing moved, nothing stirred. That simple moment was enough to shift the whole mood, turning a casual walk into something far more unsettling. Silent stare. While patrolling the quiet cemetery, Officer Josh noticed a small figure standing motionless between the headstones. At first, he thought it was just a kid lost or playing a trick, but when he called out, there was no reaction.
Hey, kid! Kid!
Just silence. As he got closer, the figure bolted, disappearing in an instant, as if it had vanished into thin air. Josh searched every corner, but nothing turned up, leaving him haunted and questioning what he had truly seen.
This kid running from me.
Haunted doll. A man found an old doll in an abandoned house and decided to keep it. At first, it just sat in a corner, but soon the atmosphere in his home felt different, like unseen eyes were always on him. One night, he heard odd sounds coming from the room where the doll was kept. When he went to check, he noticed its glass eyes move slightly, and for a moment, it looked like small hands touched it. That was enough for him to leave the room and never go back in. Abandoned chapel. During an investigation inside an abandoned chapel, a guy's camera caught a sight he'll never forget. Through a narrow window, a nun-like figure stared directly at him, motionless and cold. He rushed outside, thinking the worst was over. But when he looked up, a white figure stood on the roof before fading into nothing. Seconds later, it reappeared at the window, peeking out in the same disturbing way. The repeated appearances turned one eerie moment into a chilling mystery still hard to explain. Haunted Liberty. A ghost hunter and his partner were checking out the abandoned Liberty High when the night suddenly turned tense. While exploring different hallways, one of them came across something unexplainable, and then loud, echoing bangs shattered the silence.
Dude?
The building wasn't supposed to have anyone inside, but it did. Terrified, they called the police. When the officers arrived, they didn't just see empty halls. They heard footsteps, rattling doors, and caught shadows moving on their own. Even the cops couldn't hide their unease. Abandoned backyard. A CCTV camera kept watch over the yard of an abandoned house, its lens fixed and silent. Hours of nothing passed until something unusual stepped into view near the shed. A figure emerged with long hair covering its face and dressed in flowing white clothes. Watching it back, the empty yard suddenly felt alive with something no one could explain. Otherworldly figure. This guy was focused on recording the old walls when something unexpected showed up on screen. It was strange and otherworldly, moving quickly behind a wall as if it knew he was being watched. For a brief moment, it peeked out from the shadows, its shape hard to define. Then, just as suddenly, it vanished completely, leaving the corridor empty and quiet. The broken windows and scattered debris made the scene feel even more unusual. Whatever the figure was, it moved with a purpose that didn't seem human. Looking back at the footage, he couldn't help but think it might be a ghost. Following shadow. The living room camera had been recording all night, capturing the quiet house. Upstairs, the house owner walked toward his bedroom, unaware of what was behind him. When he checked the footage the next morning, a shadowy figure appeared on the stairs. It had the shape of a dog, moving silently without a single sound or footstep. It followed him step by step, as if it had always been there, hidden in the corners of the house. The sight was impossible to explain. Watching it again, he couldn't shake the thought, it might be a ghost. Child figure. Late at night, a security guard patrolling near a church heard unusual sounds coming from inside. He stepped in to investigate, but the building appeared empty. Later, reviewing the CCTV footage revealed something strange. A childlike figure moved quietly behind him as he walked through the church, staying just out of sight. Every hallway and shadow seemed to hide it perfectly. Then, without warning, the figure darted off in the opposite direction, vanishing as quickly as it appeared. The empty pews and silent corridors made the scene even more unsettling. Watching it again, he couldn't help but think it might be a ghost. Late night encounter. During a late-night visit to the mosque, he noticed something unusual on the prayer cloth. A small figure was sitting there, moving in a strange, jiggling way. Its motions were unnatural, almost as if it couldn't stay still. He stayed still, watching it for a few moments, but then it vanished without warning. The quiet returned, leaving only questions behind. Looking back, he realized it might be a ghost. Shadowy figure.
Bottom window. Bottom window.
In the United Kingdom, a family noticed something odd through their window. Their daughter had claimed to see a shadowy figure in a nearby house, and the father decided to record it. The footage revealed a strange shape moving behind the curtains, shifting in ways that didn't seem natural. Watching the video again, the family could see nothing solid, just the mysterious, shifting form. Whatever it was, it left them wondering. It might be a ghost.
Tapping on the window out. There.
Yeah.
Curtain shadow.
There's nobody in that house. There's nobody at all.
The house had been empty for weeks, and neighbors were keeping an eye on it. One day, a neighbor noticed something moving behind the curtains. She walked up to the front door and looked through the glass. A dark, shadowy figure was slowly moving across the rooms, blending with the walls and furniture. She stepped back and called the police. By the time they arrived, the house looked completely normal, empty as ever. Whatever had been inside, briefly appearing and then gone, it might be a ghost. Massive demon. The abandoned prison in Nashville had been quiet for years, forgotten and empty. At first, the only sounds were the creaks and groans of the old building. But soon, faint noises began to echo through the halls, almost like whispers. As he moved further inside, a heavy metal door behind him shifted slowly on its hinges. Then, in the dim light, a dark figure appeared ahead, standing perfectly still in the corridor. Its shape was hard to make out, but it was clearly watching him. The silent presence made the prison feel alive, and it might be a ghost. Possessed lady. They didn't plan on finding anything unusual, but a group of friends wandered into an old, empty house just to see what was inside. As they walked down the dark hallway, one of the girls suddenly stopped, holding her head like something hurt. She sank to the floor, rocking back and forth in a way that didn't make sense. Her face looked different, and the sounds coming from her weren't her voice at all. The friends just stood there, frozen and unsure. That moment stayed with them, leaving a quiet unease they couldn't explain. Behind curtains. While walking one quiet night, a man's attention was drawn to a run-down house at the side of the road. He thought he heard a soft murmur, almost like someone speaking under their breath. Holding up his flashlight, he pointed it toward the window. Behind a thin, faded curtain stood a figure, still pale and silent. Its face looked close to human, but not in a way that felt normal. No movement, no blink, only a fixed stare. The house looked abandoned, yet that presence made it seem far from empty. Laughing ghost. Late at night, a boy stayed home alone when he suddenly heard odd noises coming from the kitchen. They weren't normal sounds. They were loud, playful, almost like someone was there. Curious but nervous, he decided to look. As he entered, he spotted a child hiding behind the shelf. But before he could step closer, the figure disappeared right in front of him. It looked like a young boy, but no one could explain where he went. Even people online were left puzzled by what the camera caught. Moving chair.
Liam, come here. Liam, right now.
It was a quiet evening, and the babysitter was relaxing on the couch while the child played nearby. Without warning, the chair next to her began moving on its own, rocking like someone invisible was sitting down. She watched in disbelief, making sure the child hadn't done it. He was too far away. She quickly called the mother, but when she arrived, everything looked normal again. The chair was still, and the house felt empty. No one could explain what happened, leaving them with a moment that stayed in their minds long after.
Okay, I'm calling your mom. Just stay right here.
Demonic girl. This clip makes you stop and watch, then watch again in disbelief. A young girl stands quietly outside a door, her face calm but distant, almost unreadable. Inside, a woman reaches toward her, trying to guide her in. Just as people step closer to see better, the girl disappears, completely gone. No sound, no footsteps, nothing to show she was ever there. The quiet that follows feels heavier, leaving viewers wondering if what they saw was real or something beyond explanation. Haunted farm. A man was excited about his new farm, ready for a fresh start, never expecting anything unusual. One evening, while sitting in his car outside the house, he looked up at a window and froze. Behind the glass, a faint figure seemed to glide slowly, barely visible in the dim light. No one should have been there. His heart raced as he stared, realizing this place carried more than just old memories. It held something living, something that shouldn't be there. Creepy dolls. Curious and excited, a man explored an abandoned house, expecting an ordinary adventure. The rooms were full of dust and forgotten furniture. Nothing alarming. Then he saw the dolls. Sitting in the corner, they looked innocent, their blank eyes staring forward. But as he walked past, he noticed something creepy. Their eyes moved with him. Their bodies didn't change, yet it felt like they were following his every move. Uneasy and realizing this wasn't safe, he hurried out of the house, promising himself he wouldn't come back. Behind the walls. These men decided to check out an abandoned building, recording everything along the way. As one of them went downstairs, armed only with a torch, his light caught something that made him stop. A strange figure seemed to be slightly peeking out from behind the wall, almost as if it was watching him. The moment was so quick that he wasn't sure if it was real or not, but the uneasy feeling it left behind was impossible to ignore. That single glimpse still leaves everyone questioning the clip. And now, let's move on to the subscriber's pick. A team of ghost hunters decided to explore a haunted abbey in Colorado, a place known for its long history of strange activity. The building had countless stories of spirits lingering in the halls, and locals claimed it was filled with energy from the past. During their investigation, the team tried to communicate with the other side using a board game, and to their surprise, they got a response. The spirit identified herself as a nun, confirming the abbey's eerie reputation. Reports suggest there are as many as 92 spirits wandering the old building.
Nuns and children, everybody.
9. 92.
Each with its own story. Standing in those quiet, shadow-filled rooms, the team couldn't help but feel the weight of the unseen, making it clear this abbey was far from ordinary. With that, see you next time.